I think this is a bastardization of the Safety Act. I think the Safety Act was enacted to keep low-level criminals who could not afford a bond that was set to allow them to get out on bond. That wasn't for this guy has been charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 2 more felonies. This is a complete bastardization of it.
It's James Wilburn, the father of Sonya Massey, who was shot and killed in her home July 6th. A former Sangamon County Sheriff's Deputy, Sean Grayson, is charged with 3 counts of murder, official misconduct, and battery with a firearm. He is being held pending trial. The trial has been postponed multiple times with a possible start date sometime in January. But whether or not he is to be held in jail pending trial, an appeals court has said that the district court needs to go back and do a pretrial release hearing, saying that they didn't make the case that Grayson was a threat to the community. Massey's family obviously pretty upset, but the appeals court saying it's the Safety Act, the Pretrial Fairness Act, the no cash bail law in Illinois. Welcome in. It's Illinois in Focus Daily on this Friday. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join us for Illinois in Focus Daily each and every weekday morning. So let's get to this. As yesterday, you had the supporters and family of Sonya Massey go to the Illinois State Capitol to address their concerns, and this all follows, again, July 6th, Massey's shot and killed. Body camera footage showing former Deputy Sean Grayson in his official capacity as a deputy. Massey called about a prowler. You've seen the video. We've talked about it before. I'm not going to re-air that video. It's pretty gut-wrenching. But in the video from body camera of a second deputy, you see Grayson open fire and shoot and kill Sonya Massey. So he was charged. He was let go of the sheriff's department. He was charged with 3 counts of murder, official misconduct, and also battery with a firearm, held pending trial. The district court found that the prosecutors in Sangamon County made their case to hold Grayson in custody pending trial. It's part of the Safety Act, right? The Pretrial Fairness Act ended cash bail statewide. And there was a lot of debate about, will this law mean that, individuals accused of murder will be able to take to the streets? Well, the appeals court looked at the district courts and said they did not make their case. So somebody who's charged with first-degree murder, 3 counts of first-degree murder, could possibly be let out here. But the family is waiting for possible intervention by the Illinois Supreme Court, so we'll be watching that. But here's Teresa Haley, a community activist, talking about this case, how gut-wrenching it is, and where we're at in this.
So many black and brown people are in jail. They lose their families, they lose their homes, they lose their jobs, just because they can't afford bail. So that was our main push in the black and brown community in supporting the Safety Act. But it's been taken totally out of content. I'm asking the legislators to go back and to visit the act and see what we can do to tweak it, because it definitely needs tweaking. If a person is charged with murder, not even convicted yet, they are a risk to society. If not themselves, they are a risk to the rest of us. If Sean Grayson was to get out today, he can change his hair color, his eye color. We wouldn't even know him. He would blend in with the community. I wouldn't feel safe, and I hope that you wouldn't feel safe. So we're asking our legislators to revisit it, to say if someone is charged with murder, double murder, to keep them in jail.
That was a big concern for those who were not supporting the Safety Act when it was debated and for the months afterwards, because if you recall, the Safety Act with the Pretrial Fairness Act passed during lame duck session in January 2021. And then the pretrial fairness portion was litigated in courts. It was held from being put into effect until last year when the Illinois Supreme Court sided with the state, saying that the no cash bail statewide can go into effect. And then we get a case like this. Calvin Christian, another local member of the community in Springfield, he's also on the Massey Commission. He said that the Fourth Circuit State Appeals Court, their ruling makes no sense.
Even for the appellate court to rule the day before Thanksgiving, and we have the family that is living without Sonya Massey. I mean, come on now. How can the appellate court do that? But Right now, the appellate court has ruled that Sean Grayson, he won't have pretrial determinations until January 2nd. But right now, they are leaving it up to the Supreme Court to rule whether he can remain in custody based off the Safety Act. So right now, I think everybody needs to lean on the Supreme Court and say, hey, you guys need to step in within these next 35 days. That's what this is about. The Illinois Supreme Court, step in now. Don't let it wait. Step in now.
So what's going to happen? Is the Illinois Supreme Court going to step in and say that Sean Grayson should remain behind bars pending trial? Not sure. The father, James Wilburn, addressing this issue of the appeals court and also the Safety Act, as you heard earlier, saying that the appeals court is doing a bastardization of the Safety Act. Here's more from Mr. Wilburn about the loss of his daughter.
My message to those three judges who ruled unanimously that Sean Grayson is not a danger to the people of Springfield: if you got room in your house, give him a bedroom to live in your house. If there's a house for sale on your block, let him move on the block where you live. And we'll see how quickly that NIMBY attitude comes out in you. Not on my block. But you say he's no longer a threat to civilized people here in Springfield. And I want to tell you all that until an undertaker puts some embalming fluid in this body, I'm going to fight to keep my daughter's killer in a jail cell. I don't ever want to see him walk free amongst any of us.
Pretty heart-wrenching family struck by tragedy, and not much indication of relief on their part, but we'll see what the Illinois Supreme Court does. So that's what's happening in Sangamon County, right? And the Sangamon County prosecutors are fighting to keep Grayson behind bars. And people have brought up, it's not just people worried about Grayson getting out and being harmed. It's also, you got to consider if Grayson gets out, could there be harm done to him? And some of that was kind of hinted at during yesterday's news conference. But up in Cook County, they've got a new state's attorney that is promising to take a different track with the Safety Act and pretrial fairness. Let's take a look at Cook County State's Attorney Eileen Burke with a news release announcing new detention policies to increase public safety and protect victims. Let's read through this. Prosecutors will seek pretrial detention for the highest classes of violent offenses, all violent offenses that occur on public transit, any offense that involves the possession and use of an assault weapon, as well as numerous domestic violence, sex offenses, and crimes against children. Upon taking the office of Cook County State's Attorney, Eileen Burke announced policy changes aimed at reducing violence and protecting victims by empowering prosecutors to seek detention as provided under the law. Under the Safety Act, the state must file a petition to detain an offender before the court can consider it. A judge can no longer hold someone pretrial absent a prosecutor requesting it. Effective immediately, the Cook County State's Attorney's Office will be seeking detention for every detainable felony offense where an offender used and possessed a firearm equipped with an extended magazine, drum magazine, automatic switch, or used a ghost gun or defaced firearm. Any domestic violence related to stalking or sex offense where the offender used or possessed a weapon. Any detainable felony offense that is committed on public transportation. All murder or Class X felony offenses, first-degree murder, aggravated arson, aggravated battery of a child, aggravated kidnapping, aggravated vehicle hijacking, armed robbery, home invasion, solicitation of murder, all sex offenses where the victim was under the age of 13 and the offender was an adult through the duration of the offense, or when the offense was committed during the commission of another felony, and all cases involving the manufacture, dissemination, or possession of child pornography. So she says, together we're going to build a safer, stronger Cook County, and that starts on day one. The police superintendent for Chicago siding with this. You had Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson asked about this very news release yesterday at an unrelated event. Here's the mayor.
With the changeover in the state's attorney's office and new rules being applied to things like retail theft, Do you have any concern that we'll see more people incarcerated as a result and create a greater need for returning programs like this one under the new state's attorney?
Well, look, here's what's necessary in this moment. All of us have to work together to address not just disinvestment, but to address how we respond to returning residents. I can say this. There have been policies in the past that have demonstrated that they are not effective. And this is why this office is so important, because this office gets to weigh in on these dynamics.
And he's talking about the event he was doing was the Office of Reentry. He announced a new director. It's for an office to help individuals who live in Chicago coming out of prison to get back into society. But he never really answered the question addressing Eileen O'Neill Burke's move to, hold people pre-trial for certain offenses. There's also been discussion about more, focus on retail theft and that type of thing. But Johnson never really addressed the issue, only to say that there were policies in the past he believes were detrimental to people. So we'll obviously be watching what happens in Chicago. Got to get out of here. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join us each and every weekday morning here with America's Talking Network.